Hello everyone, I'm Austin Herman. I'm here with Matthew Wilkins. Today we're going to be reviewing The Irishman, currently streaming on Netflix, or some people call it, I Heard You Paint Houses. So what we have here is basically a crime saga, told from the perspective of an aging old hitman rotting away his final days in a retirement home. That aging old hitman is named Frank Sheeran. A lot has been made about the CGI in the film. Basically, what they did is they had ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, de-age the actors. This film takes place over 30 to 40 years. As the film progresses, it is seamless. But early on, I just did not buy the fact that De Niro was a 30-year-old man. Even the blocking of some scenes, specifically, most of the scenes were cut around or edited around the effects on the actors' faces, minimizing the de-aging effect in the early parts of the film. Now, De Niro's character is kind of portrayed as young and aloof early on. A lot of his actions are based on reactions from other characters in the film. There are many times during the movie where he's more of a background extra while more important characters take hold of the frame. Think Forrest Gump, but with mob families and bosses.
You know, I don't care whether you did it or not. That makes no difference to me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm here to defend you, right?
Right. What do you want to know? You want to know if I did it or not?
In the middle section of the film, Frank Sheeran finally finds his groove. He's giving background, his relationship with Jimmy Hoffa and the Bufalini family is more fleshed out, and we start to get more involved in the story. It's actually a strong argument for the almost 4-hour narrative. By the time we get to the end of the film, we're not so much invested in De Niro's character as we are his relationships. This movie is not so much about who lives or who dies, but the choices the characters make and what it brings out of the audiences and how we feel about them.
And man, do they die. What I thought was really cool, different from any other Scorsese movie, is that each time it introduces a character, it introduces you to the time of death, the manner of death, and the day of death. Let's just say 6 shots to the face.
It's one of those kind of films that as it goes on, it gets more and more involving and more engrossing. And by the time we get to the final reel, it is absolutely spellbinding. The movie also works as a historical piece on the Teamsters in the Jimmy Hoffa saga. During this part of the film, it has a very episodic feel. We jump from plot point to plot point, from historic event to courtroom to courtroom, with really not much thorough line. Depending on what kind of viewer you are and what kind of baggage you're bringing with you, you might be more involved in the film than others. I, for one, haven't taken a history class in quite some time. During the middle section of this film, when they're chronicling Jimmy Hoffa and his trials with the Teamsters Union, I had to look up a many a names and do a many a Google searches. I felt a little out of the narrative, but this is only for me, a specific viewer. Among all this, the bright shining star of this section is Al Pacino. I haven't seen Al Pacino be this good in years. His portrayal of Jimmy Hoffa is angry, exciting, and heartfelt. Al Pacino gets the best lines, the best scenes, and he is amazing with the other actors, especially Stephen Graham as a fellow Teamsters Union leader.
Making a point dressing like that? Is that you dress for a meeting?
And this is how you dress in Florida? In a suit?
For a meeting? Anywhere. Florida, Timbuktu, I dress in a suit. For a meeting.
As the movie reaches its final reel, the movie leaps from pretty good to pretty fucking great. And the Hoffa character, for all his bluster and foolishness, really pushes this story to another level. I always felt good characters were defined by their actions and not by their words, and Al Pacino's Hoffa is a prime example of that. It speaks volumes to the story and all involved, and the film truly builds to a very heartbreaking climax.
We'll bring you back after you get your car.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go, you can tell this is a Scorsese joint. Dialogue, scene cutting, music cues, it's all there. Every single actor in this film has been in a previous Scorsese picture. This is definitely much a family affair and a mob movie, and it helps that mob mentality for the film. Is this as good as or better than Casino or Goodfellas? Short answer, no. It has a few things holding it back, but in some ways it shines a little brighter than those films do because it's a different approach to the whole mafia saga than those films were. It's not really like those films. There are some similarities in terms of the way Scorsese makes the movies, but honestly, it's a different kind of film. It's an old man's mafia movie. Now, an awful lot has also been made about the fact that this is a Netflix film. Now, usually that's a negative term. A lot of Netflix films are either undercooked, underbaked, or just not really ready for prime time. This is actually kind of a positive. One would imagine actually putting this film through an actual legit distribution cycle and through a studio system probably would have made it meaner, leaner, and kind of took away a lot of the finesse and care that went into this film. As it stands right now, it is a Scorsese picture through and through. It's how he wanted to make it. And Netflix, lets the fucker breathe.